Hey there guys, alright, today we are back with some more miscellaneous myths, and since it is June, we're gonna watch the Pride Tales video, finally. I've been meaning to watch this for quite some time, but when I finally noticed this video in OSP's catalog, I was like, it's not June. So I kept waiting. I've been waiting to watch this one. Been wanting to watch it for a while. I'm guessing it's gonna be a bunch of Greek myths, because the Greeks were gay. Greeks invented threesomes, Romans added women. Got him. Hey, stupid joke that I saw on the internet so many years ago. Before we dive in, make sure you go and check out the links in the description box below. I would love it if you joined the Discord and followed me over at Twitch. Alright, Pride Tales. I wonder if this is just going to be... Based off the title, I'm assuming this is going to be a collection of mythology, or it's going to be just a video talking about how mythology has lots of gays in it. Quite sure which one to expect. Let's go ahead and dive in, find out.
Happy Pride Month, everybody! That wonderful time of year where we appreciate the sparkling kaleidoscope of human variation that makes life so interesting. And despite what some
and have a bunch of capitalist companies try and pander to the LGBTQ community. Woo!
rhetoric would suggest, most of that variation was not first invented in the 60s, the 80s, the 2000s, or the first time you heard someone use a term in public. All throughout human history and all over the world, people have been people for as long as that's been a meaningful concept. So today, let's take a quick look at an assortment of myths, legends, and stories highlighting some of that majestic rainbow of experience on the global stage.
Okay, so
Let's start in the
all around the world. Wasn't expecting that. I actually like that. I like this
early
take.
aughts BCE in the Han Dynasty of China. The story goes that Emperor Ai was taking a nap with his fellow politician and also super definitely boyfriend Dong Shan. Emperor Ai wakes up to find Dong Shan still sleeping like a baby, resting his head on Emperor Ai's extremely shiny and extremely expensive imperial sleeve. Rather than waking him up to move it, Emperor Ai opts to cut the sleeve off and leave his nap undisturbed. This was such an iconic display that apparently Emperor Ai's courtiers cut off their own sleeves as tribute to their relationship, and the cut sleeve became a euphemism for gayness overall. You ever do something so sweet and so gay that people are still talking about it 2,000 years later? Meanwhile,
That's actually a really cool story. Yeah, I'm sorry, but ain't no way you are cutting off the sleeve of your expensive clothing, even if you're the fucking emperor, for a person sleeping. You're the emperor. You can disturb anyone's sleep without remorse. They would apologize to you for falling asleep in front of you because you're the fucking emperor. That emperor was gay. 100%. Yeah.
while over in Hawaii, Hi'iaka, goddess of hula dancing, medicine, and sorcery, is spending her days on the beach with Hopoe, a dancer she's very close to. They share a relationship sometimes called
Okay, intimate sexual relationship plus kane and husband. Okay. The chiefs of Hawaii commonly had akane relationships, and one reportedly even asked Captain Cook to stay and be his colonial colonists really didn't like that, and the term was redefined as friendship in the late 1800s. It was redefined as roommates. They were roommates. Come on, Red.
aikane, which is a term that technically means a close sexual relationship between men. So how does that apply to these ladies? Well, judging by the number of bosom friends, gal pals, besties, and chums in the modern translation, I think we can safely conclude they were married. But all is not well on the island.
Find me a husband. Don't touch my girlfriend. Deal.
As Pele summons Hi'iaka and sends her on a quest to find her immortal husband. In turn, Hi'iaka makes Pele swear an oath to protect her grove and her girlfriend. Pele agrees, but quickly becomes impatient, and as Hi'iaka struggles through her epic quest, Pele's temper
I sure hope this doesn't become a trend.
flares and she begins chucking lava, destroying the island, burning the grove, and finally turning Hopoe to stone. Super not cool, Pele. I can't believe you'd contribute to the bury your gays trope like that.
Wait, what did you say?
Super not cool, Pele. I can't believe you'd contribute to the bury your gays trope like that.
Barrier gaze trope? I don't think I've heard of that one.
Meanwhile, in ancient Greece, we hit two opposing ends of the spectrum with Apollo and Athena. The only thing more extensive than Apollo's list of male lovers is his list of female lovers, and despite the stereotypes, most of those relationships don't actually end in tragedy. While a handful of his mortal lovers do turn into plants, most of them end up working out pretty
You're a prophet now. Hey, thanks.
pretty well, receiving gifts of prophecy, immortality, godhood, all that jazz. In fact, during a year he spent in exile as punishment for killing a monster he wasn't supposed to, Apollo worked as a herdsman to King Admetus, and according to Ovid, was so absolutely smitten with him that he wildly embarrassed the other Olympians by doting on the king like crazy. He also later helps Admetus win a lady's
Imagine how smoking hot you gotta be to get a god to love you that much. That king must be fucking an 11 out of 10. No. Oh, 17 out of 10. He's so high up on the scale.
hand in marriage through a chariot race, which, combined with Poseidon doing the exact same thing for Pelops, suggests that this was something of a classic divine boyfriend/wingman move. And then there's Athena, noted as one of only 3 beings who Aphrodite holds no power over, the other 2 being Artemis and Hestia. And while Artemis hanging out with her huntresses and forswearing forever the company of men can be interpreted a few different ways, Athena is pretty explicit.
Plenty of boys love ladies who can kick ass. That's nice.
In the Homeric hymn to Aphrodite, the singer goes out of their way to specify that Athena has no time for Aphrodite's shenanigans, and instead of dealing with any kind of romantic shenaniganery, prefers to spend her time on the art of war, as well as the art of art in general. This trait of hers is so iconic.
Parthenos, virgin, an epithet used for Athena, Hera, Artemis, Persephone, and a few other ladies. Athena Parthenos was the name given to a massive gold and ivory statue of Athena, once housed in the Parthenon. Many replicas have been made, but the original is lost. I want to know where the fuck it is.
Iconic and universally recognized that it contributes to her most famous epithet, Athena Parthenos, the Virgin Athena, aka what the Parthenon is named after. Personally, I think her Promachos epithet is cooler. It means she who fights on the front.
In front. To do battle. Also describes the warriors in the first rank of a fan.
Front lines, except in the battlefield of love. Meanwhile, in Japan, let me introduce you to Inari, a very important Shinto deity of fertility, agriculture, prosperity, rice, tea, and like a bunch of other important stuff. Inari is a fox deity, but unlike your garden variety kitsune, they are more than just a trickster spirit. A full 30% of the shrines in Japan are dedicated to Inari, so suffice to say they are a serious big deal. Now sometimes they appear as a bearded old man riding a fox, sometimes as a young woman carrying sheaves of rice, sometimes an androgynous bodhisattva, and those are just the times they look like a human as opposed to dragon or giant spider. The general consensus is that Inari has no set gender and appears however they like, but unlike many shapeshifters, they don't tend to play pranks and mostly help people in trouble, like the swordsmith Munechika, who is ordered by Emperor Ichigo to forge him a sword. He can't do it without a smithing partner of equal skill, so he goes to Inari's shrine to pray for help, where he meets a mysterious
Do you like swords?
young boy who tells him about the cool legendary sword.
I know all about swords. Is yours gonna control the winds like Kusanagi? That's a little bit ambitious.
Swords of the past and promises to help him forge the sword. Surprise, surprise.
Hope it's cool. I brought my own hammer.
The boy is actually Inari, and with their help, Munechika forges the blade Kogetsune Maru, Little Fox. Nice.
Nice.
Speaking of foxes, Japan also has the folktale of Tamamizu, a kitsune who's just
These Japan stories with the foxes are making me want to replay Ghost of Tsushima because I fucking love the foxes.
minding their own business when they spot a young woman and fall instantly in love. The kitsune considers turning into a handsome young man and wooing her, but decides it wouldn't be good for her to marry a fox spirit, so instead they turn into a young woman of a similar age. She calls herself Tamamizu and gets herself adopted by a nice family. But her family notices she's pining a bit and asks if there's a special someone out there, but Tamamizu says she couldn't
So, do you have your eye on someone? No? Ish?
possibly get married with her low status, but she sure wouldn't mind being a handmaid to some beautiful rich girl, hint hint. So Tamamizu gets set up as the handmaid to the girl she likes, and they spend several years together, with Tamamizu occasionally dipping out for a secret fox-based adventure. But despite her happy and comfortable life, Tamamizu is still
It's beautiful, but so sad. Don't read into it.
yearning something awful, and her poems are all sad. Then one day, the young woman enters a competition to find the most beautiful autumn leaf, and with the help of her fox siblings, Tamamizu scours the mountain and finds her a beautiful 5-color leaf that coincidentally has the entire Lotus Sutra printed on it. Obviously, she wins the competition, and the emperor himself catches wind of this gorgeous leaf and awards the girl's family tons of status and land. And eventually, he proposes to her. Tamamizu is of course fully supportive as their relationship advances, but she's kinda dying on the inside and ends up deciding to sneak away so her
Aww. Well, that one was depressing. That one wasn't feel good at the end. No, that one was sad. All these others have been fairly, feel goody. Ouch.
But we've got enough tragic tales of unrequited love. Let's hop over to Mesoamerica and get a look at Xochipilli, the Prince of Flowers, a much beloved god of summertime, partying, pleasure, creativity, and alcohol. How
Nice.
timely. Despite being possibly married to the alcohol goddess Mayahuel, and the only evidence for this, by the way, seems to be that they are seated near each other on a page of the Aztec Codex. Looks like the shippers are at it again. Xochipilli was the patron god of male homosexuality and temple prostitution. He also had a twin sister/female counterpart, Xochiquetzal, patron goddess of women and female prostitution, along with all the flowers and partying and art stuff. Xochipilli was probably a holdover from the Toltec civilization, which apparently had a reputation among the other Mesoamerican civilizations for being rather more on board with that stuff than most. Even before the Spaniards showed up, the Aztecs and Inca had some pretty harsh laws about no bone zoning, but Xochipilli was a-okay with all that jazz. At least, we think that's how it played out. Pre-colonial Mesoamerican religion can be pretty tricky to research. What with all the conquering and reconquering going on down there, there's kind of a lack of sources where a society describes itself in its own terms. The Aztecs seem to have thought of Xochipilli as something of a personification of male weakness, an embodiment of everything wrong with the Toltecs that allowed the Aztecs to conquer them. And then the Spaniards showed up, stomped all over everything, and wrote about the Aztecs the exact same way. So all things considered, let's just be happy that Xochipilli's positive vibe somehow survived 2 bloody conquests and 500 years of colonization. Peace and love, baby. Now that's what I call flower power. Now there's loads more we could cover, but to keep the Whirlwind World Tour nice and concise, let's cap it here. Have a great Pride Month and enjoy all the rainbows. And I see your true.
Fun fact, while it's fun to speculate about what modern labels would apply to these folkloric figures, I largely avoided doing so in this video because these identities are often steeped in and shaped by their social context. 100%. In short, it often doesn't translate directly to our modern delineations. Consider Artemis and how her deal could be interpreted several different ways. And if you want, consider looking up Iphis and Ianthe, and then notice how that story doesn't cleanly map to any one modern label or our current understanding of gender and orientation. Every month is Pride Month if you allow yourself to be consumed by hubris. And that was Miscellaneous Myths Pride Tales. I like this short collection of different stories and mythologies going on here. That one story was very depressing, though, from Japan and the Fox Lady. That one sucked. I didn't like that one because it made me sad. Give them love. Let them love. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.